Warning. The facts you are about to hear are based off 2 hours of researching the pros and cons of history's heroes and most controversial figures. This is Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history.
I've been moisturizing my face, and buddy, I can see the results.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know if that's the phone or you, but yeah, it looks like you. Looks like all you.
I know, it looks like I've photoshopped all my blemishes out, but it's just the power of moisturizing every morning.
Man, I hurt my neck, bro.
Sucking too much dick?
Fuck. I wish, because then I'd know what to stop doing.
You wish you sucked so much dick?
I'd be like, okay, so I guess.
Who are you, Shaka Zulu?
Wow. Wow. Why would you do that?
Is that going to make it on the...
Bro, don't be like that. That's fucking hilarious. But nah, man, that's just part of getting older. You go to sleep and you wake up worse. I know it's pretty bleak, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
I just fell asleep and woke up, and now my neck is in pain.
I hate those ones. Yeah. Would you sleep on the couch?
Nah, I have small pillows.
Yeah.
I have big pillows, and I just went into bed yesterday, high as fuck, and I fell asleep on a big pillow. So I was like this.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, and that was it for me.
Yeah, I hate those ones. They can really fuck up a couple days in a row for you. Like
yeah.
It's crazy. Like 6 hours of sleep like that can actually like fuck you up for a couple days.
It ruined Valentine's Day. How am I gonna suck dick on Valentine's Day now?
Yeah.
Pause. Forgot. I gotta put that in. So what have you been up to, man? What have you actually been doing all week? Because I never talked to you during the week.
Well, I only did one live this week because my mood got thrown off by the death of another relative. But I've been coming around to the concept of heaven, just thinking what a nice concept that is. And just thinking about that.
God damn. You couldn't talk about like the ice cream cone you had during the week or anything?
No, but really, I mean, I believe in God, of course. I love God. But I wasn't too sure. Okay, so my original thoughts on the afterlife are God is great, and God is all-knowing, all-powerful. So if God is all of that, then why would God only give you one chance to get to heaven, if there was such a thing as heaven?
Yeah.
So if God is a loving God, then reincarnation must be a thing, because it's like if you lived a life where you were a bad person, now you get put in tougher circumstances, but you find a lot of the people put in the worst circumstances end up being good people because the way they come up, it just humbles them. And they, you know, when you see somebody 100%. That's like so poor they have nothing, but they're still happy and they're still nice to you, and it's just like, how does this guy have it all figured out when he has nothing? Cuba. And then you see a rich guy that's a miserable fuck and a jerk.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, because those aren't what make you a good person. Anyways, so what I'm saying is that's my concept of the life and afterlife. But losing 2 grandparents in the last 4 months has definitely made me think, well, dealing with that, I think about them actually, like, so my grandma and grandpa, like, true love story. Such a love story. Like, listen to what a down-ass bitch my grandma is. This one that just passed.
Grace.
Not Maureen. Maureen is the Irish one. That was November. But Grace Barbara Clark, she such a down ass bitch for my grandpa that, you know, when you put on the cemetery, like you put like beloved this or whatever,
yeah.
So he has like a 1-2 things on his tombstone, and then hers just says Barb Clark, wife. Just wife. And it's really nice. That just made me like feel good about them too, because so my grandpa, he was blind. He went blind. Like, so I never knew him as a guy that could see, because he had sight probably up until 50s, whatever, and then I was born. So I knew him all in his retirement and stuff. So my grandma was always looking after him. He was pretty independent, but at the same time she had to drive him everywhere. Like, they'd go to Florida every year. She would drive the whole way. Like, she was his caretaker in a way at the same time.
Yeah.
And very loving relationship. And when he was dying, like years ago, he died like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
The doctors would be like, "Oh, do you need anything?" And he would just say, "My wife." He just wanted to make sure she was there when he died.
Wow.
She wasn't there when he died.
No.
Fuck. But it was actually good because I was there, and his face was like all like, when people die, his face looked like a little like scary. It was like stiff, like his eyes were still open. Mouth was still open. So I tried to close his mouth and close his eyes before my grandma got there, so she wouldn't see him like that.
Yeah, they usually close easy.
No, it was hard.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The eyes closed okay, but I don't think I got the mouth closed.
Oh no, the mouth won't close because everything seizes up.
Yeah.
All the muscles, because once the blood leaves, right?
What the fucking thing to be talking about?
No, but like that's crazy.
It's messed up because my grandpa. I was very close to my grandpa, and he found his grandpa dead. I didn't. He was in a hospital. It's not like I found him like surprised. Like he found his grandpa dead. Like they lived in a pool hall. So they lived above a pool hall.
Wow.
His grandpa ran the pool hall. My grandpa was actually sick at pool. Even when he was blind, I could just line up his shot and he was like sick. But anyway, so he went upstairs and his grandpa was dead in his like favorite chair or whatever, sitting in his chair.
Fuck.
So my whole life I felt like I had such a close relationship with my grandpa. I'm like, I'm going to be one of the first people to find him dead. And that ended up being true. Isn't that weird?
Wow. That's fucked.
I was in the hospital. I was like, we were all taking turns going to the hospital to like visit him, and it just so happened like that was the time that I was there.
Yeah.
Boom, he's passed away. I'm there before my grandma, so she was on her way, and I was just like, let me try and clean him up before she gets here.
It's so crazy. Things like that are crazy. And then she was the one that just passed.
So she's the one that just passed. So she was like right after he died, her health kind of went out the window because her whole living was being a wife. Old school.
Yeah, and honestly, spiritually, like your hearts are like connected. So once like half of it dies, like
it's true.
It probably fucks with you.
I have other like a great aunt and great uncle who one of them was in the hospital about to die. The other one had a brain aneurysm. They died within 2 days of each other.
For sure.
Just because it's like I can't go. It's straight up that I can't go on without you.
Yeah.
Like that's a real thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So my grandma, like she ended up living years after my grandpa, but she got dementia. She wasn't there. Like she wasn't herself anymore. You know what I mean? So this is one of those ones, as much as it is sad and everything to be like, oh, there's the last grandparent gone. This is one of those ones where it's like, she's at peace now.
Yeah.
And like I said, heaven thing, I'm thinking
reunited.
My grandpa's up there like, what took you so long?
Yeah.
What were you waiting for?
Jesus is like, you want anything? He's like, my wife.
My wife. Can you send her up here? Like they're putting it. Like, yeah. Anyways.
That's a good way to look at it, man. Yeah. That they go up there. Recently, I've heard that the Egyptians believe that when you pass away, like your soul goes up. And they're very specific about it. It goes like along the Milky Way, and it's confronted with the life that it's lived and like just challenges. Which I don't really like. I don't know if I believe that or whatever, but it's like comforting to think that a society so old is like, no, something happens after you pass away. Like there is something that happens, and you go somewhere, and you go and you reunite with this like source energy, and like that's actually really cool to think. The
only thing that trips me out about heaven or the concept of heaven is it is exactly what you would tell somebody who's sad to make them feel better. Yeah. So the whole concept could definitely be like they saw, people are dying. What are we going to tell them to make them feel better? We'll tell them that they're going to meet up with their loved ones in heaven. Yeah. They're going to be in a paradise. It's way better than earth, actually. So that's why the concept of heaven is a little bit like, it's a little bit of a childish story to me. But at the same time, now that I've come, I'm getting to the age where I'm watching my loved ones die. I'm like, heaven, it's a good concept. It's a good concept. Man, that's why when I say the Egyptian thing, it's like it's not even about heaven. They're not even talking about heaven. They're just talking about like after this is done, there is more, and you are like eternal. Like you're an eternal thing. They're not even talking about like heaven and like paradise. They're like challenges, and you have to like repent for. Oh my God! What? Yeah. Can you imagine if you were one of those like? If you're suicidal and you just want everything to end, oh fuck! You kill yourself. Don't go. You kill yourself, and they're like, "No, that wasn't it. That wasn't even the hard part." They're like,
Now you got some big questions to answer, buddy.
If anything, Earth was heaven.
Yeah.
Now you're in trouble.
What's going on, right?
Holy
and,
shit.
and like my comforting thought is like they probably don't go there right away. Like if I passed away, I wouldn't go there right away because I'd be like, I'm gonna watch this play out. Like my whole family, I'm gonna watch it all play out, and then I'll go. Like I want to see what happens with
I
each
want
other.
to watch my funeral. Who's giving the eulogy? Hey, I don't want him talking.
And it probably doesn't. And it probably wouldn't go by like years and years. Like for your like, let's say your grandfather was watching. It's probably like just like a few minutes to him. He's just like, yeah,
true.
James got big. Yeah. Oh, you're here. Okay, let's go.
Um,
And then she's like, no, I want to watch now.
well, in Christianity, there's heaven, there's hell, and then there's purgatory. So that's like that in between level that
Limbo.
You're saying like that could be working through challenges to make it yourself worthy to go to heaven, and it could also be the place where you're stopping to look down on the earth, like getting that last glimpse.
Yeah. Before you head out. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing to think about, all that stuff. But you think about it a lot when somebody passes. And even after they pass for like a while, you think about that shit. It's so funny. I forgot that happened with you. I was just thinking about my buddy that passed away as I was driving up here.
Really?
Yeah, my buddy Gideon.
Like a while ago? Or?
Yeah, Gideon passed away like 3 months after my dad. So 2016.
Damn, son.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I always think about him all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's a sad reality of life that we lose these people that we love, and what better way to start this episode? Because this was a guy that the world was loving, and well, not the world, but a good chunk of America was loving, and they lost him.
They didn't love him at first.
They didn't love him at first, and honestly,
Right?
they didn't really love him near the end. They loved him for a couple years in the middle there.
He and we're talking about Martin Luther King.
We're talking about Martin Luther King. It's Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history.
Oh, bring that
Who was
energy. He's like Scarface, his legacy. You know, like he passed away. People slept on it for a while, and then it just erupted like heavy.
Well, yeah. I mean, well on Earth, he did win a Nobel Prize. He was like recognized as a great civil rights leader. But you're right, there wasn't. When you think about it now, there's so much like kumbaya. He was all nonviolent, all nice and everything. But when I was doing my research, there's a lot of what they would call it is whitewashing of his history, like white people making it more palatable. Like, oh, what makes this go down easier? Let's make him a hero, but let's make him our kind of hero that everyone can be like
making Shaka.
He's great.
Like
He's a
making
good guy.
like making Shaka Zulu gay. That's how they did it.
No, not exactly. Thinking Shaka Zulu
like,
gay was like,
we can't make this guy seem so amazing. They're like, we gotta like just do something.
no, but Martin Luther King, they left out the unsavory parts, the parts that might have been like a little bit edgier, and they only kept in the good parts.
Who left it out? Who left out that part of his life? Like, did the FBI go, nah, we'll leave that out? Like, who was leaving it out? Because you'd think they'd want it out right away, no?
Okay, that is such a for you're pretty much asking me to start at the end of the story.
Okay, no. Do you think?
Because to ask that question,
let's start from the beginning then.
Who would leave it out is they wanted to make him the face of civil rights, and he is. He is. Like, he definitely got stuff done, but him being the face of civil rights, they wanted to make him as nonviolent, as kumbaya, as
obedient,
as
kind of.
not obedient, but like palatable, like not scary. They wanted to make it as
someone that
easy as possible to digest,
and somebody that if everybody idolized him and decided to like be his image, that it would cause like a super uprising.
If we're gonna make a Martin Luther King Day, we're gonna leave out the part where he was fucking a bunch of women, and we're gonna leave out the part where he was actually like, not that he was like about violence, but he was definitely not as nonviolent all the way through. He had some.
I would say he woke up. Like, he was nonviolent for a while and like didn't get violent, but he got like, yo, what the hell's going on?
The country did turn on him at the end. What I was looking at is when he started out trying to go for these basic rights, started being a civil rights leader, they were showing like about 24% of the country was on his side. Like, it was a very small.
Yeah.
Then through his demonstrations, through his speeches, he probably flipped it. He got about 75% of the country on his side.
Yeah.
But then towards the end of his life, he started having a little bit more edgy ideas, a little bit more what the government would call dangerous ideas.
Yeah.
Like same way like Malcolm X had to be watched by the FBI. Now they started feeling like, oh, we have to put somebody watching Martin Luther King. Now he's getting a little bit too edgy. So the last couple of years of his life, these same writers, these same newspaper writers that were like all on his side and everything, people started to kind of turn on him, turn their back on him, be like, well, now he's saying some stuff that we can't get down with.
Yeah.
You trusted the guy this long, maybe hear him out. Anyways,
That's
I'm giving you guys previews to what we're going to talk about later, but let us rewind to the beginning.
Yeah. What's good? MLK, JR.
MLK. First of all, Martin Luther King, born Michael King.
What? My middle name's Michael.
He was born Michael King Jr. after his father, Michael King. But his dad went on a trip to Germany when he was only 2 years old, when Martin Luther King was 2 years old, and he learned about a German monk named Martin Luther, who began the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century, becoming one of the most influential and controversial figures in the history of Christianity. So I do want to do an episode on this guy eventually too, Martin Luther, because to be the most influential and controversial, that is straight up what we talk about in the show. Isn't that the intro for the show?
What?
We talk about the most influential and controversial guy. Oh, we say history's greatest heroes and controversial figures.
Yeah.
But either way, so Michael King went to Germany, liked that name Martin Luther so much, liked him being such an influential figure in Christianity so much that he renamed himself Martin Luther. And then to make his son's name Junior make sense, he renamed him Martin Luther King Jr.
He renamed his son while he was alive? Like while his son was born already?
He renamed himself.
How old was his son?
Himself and his son. He renamed.
How old
Martin Luther King Jr. was 2 years old. His dad was a fully grown man, and he gave himself a new name. Why are you not impressed by that point? Who cares about giving a 2-year-old a new name?
Because I've been thinking about changing my name to Michael Crown for like 8 years.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because like sometimes you want to get away from the name of you.
I want to get away. Anyway, so Martin Luther King. That's how Martin Luther King and Martin Luther King Jr.
But that's crazy to rename your kid. That's more crazy.
It's crazy to me to think about
because you're saying the name to the kid all the time. So like, and then you just change it. That's weird. That's a weird thing to. Lucky you didn't come up absolutely crazy.
You know what's crazy to me?
That's a crazy thing to have happen.
The thought of a black man in Atlanta going to Germany in 1930.
See, that's what I mean. Who? I won't get into
it's
that.
Pretty
but
tough.
Who was his father? Who was his father?
His father was also a preacher.
He's a preacher.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's why he went to Germany. For like religious shit?
I guess so. Well, yeah.
And that's how you met.
That's where he learned about the monk.
True.
He didn't meet him. That guy was 400 years before. But
so maybe like a school.
Probably.
Wait, a school in Germany? That's weird. Huh. Okay. All right.
Either way, the point is, I just found fun fact: born Michael. Funner fact: his dad renamed both of them off of somebody that he liked.
He fucked up. We could have had Michael King, man. We had Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Michael King. This is Mike Tyson. It would have been another Michael to just add to the list. Michaels are great.
Well, he is still unofficial Michael.
He's born Michael.
He birth certificate Michael. Michael King. Yeah, great.
All right, so his dad was a maniac. What else?
Another fun fact: 12 years old, we almost lost Martin Luther King before he got started, because at 12 years old he tried to kill himself. And the reason he tried to kill himself is his grandma died. Call back to the beginning of our episode. His grandma died, and he was so grief-stricken by it that he jumped out of a window.
Wow.
But it was only the second floor, so he didn't end up dying.
Wow. That's fucked.
Yeah, he jumped out of a second-story window. So we almost didn't have Martin Luther King.
What happened? He hit a tree?
No, it was only the second floor. So.
You didn't die from the second floor, though.
Well, he did.
If you just go ahead belly flop, you fuck yourself up. That's weird, though. I guess he's strong. That's fucked up.
He is strong.
That grief-stricken, eh? That's what a sensitive kid. Think about that. To throw yourself out of a window? I don't know. I've never had grandparents or anything, but...
You never had grandparents? Trust me, it's pretty sick, man. You might want to kill yourself if they die. No. As a kid, it would be very hard. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
being a grandparent seems like the best job in the world. It's way more fun than being a parent.
Yeah.
And the kids notice that. Look at how much fun this person's having. They love me so much.
The kids notice that.
Yeah. So he was, even though jumping out of a window of the second floor, trying to kill yourself doesn't sound like a smart idea, he was a smart guy. He was actually so smart that he skipped both grade 9 and grade 12. Ended up going to college at 15. He's a smart guy.
So that's how he became a doctor so early.
Yes. And what was he a doctor of?
I don't know. Did you find out?
Well, we had our speculations that he might have been a gynecologist, the way this guy loved pussy. But no, he was actually a doctor of...
It's good to see you, Mary. Let's get started. Could you imagine?
He actually got his doctorate in philosophy and systematic theology. So it's related to religion. He was about that religion stuff.
True.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
In college is also when he began to work for civil rights. He wrote a letter to the editor of the Atlanta Constitution saying, African Americans are entitled to the basic rights and opportunities of American citizens. Sounds like a pretty simple thought.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the editor and being like, what's this guy? Is this guy crazy? Equal rights.
Probably read it like, what? Like, hold on, let me read that again. Wait.
Didn't we just free you guys? Now we're equals?
Equal? Hold on a second.
Yeah, I can see the office must have been crazy over that. Some 15-year-old college kid just wrote me a letter. First of all, how's this kid in college?
First of all, how is he writing letters? Why is he in college? And where's my whiteout? I'm whiting out this whole thing.
No, but that is where he got his little first step foot in the water of civil rights. Now, his doctorate, you guys know this is Pros and Conquerors. We look into the good and the bad. And one of the things that came up later on after Martin Luther King's death is his doctorate was actually potentially could get taken away because he forged his thesis paper. You know, at the end of your to get your doctorate, you have to write that thesis paper.
A dissertation.
So decades later, it was revealed King had copied paragraphs wholesale from other sources without attributing them. Now, they didn't end up taking the doctorate away. They said they didn't have enough evidence to really take it because he works cited other stuff. He missed a couple. They were like, it didn't seem like he was that bad.
Yeah, only people who were screaming plagiarism were racist white people who wanted segregation.
Yeah, they're like, that guy ain't no doctor.
Like, let me read this goddamn thing.
Doctor of theology.
No way he wrote this. Let me check this out. He stole this paragraph. No chance he just missed the attribute. No chance he missed it. He plagiarized. That's how it works.
The one thing that I found pretty interesting, like I've always heard the story of Rosa Parks, but I didn't know that ties into Martin Luther King. Did you?
Did he put her up to it?
No, but when he heard about it the same day, so she got arrested for sitting at the front of the bus.
I heard he put her up to it.
You know what?
Because like in the videos we've been listening to, how he was talking about like how you need some kind of drama in order to like cause attention to it. I heard that he actually said that you're gonna be on this bus, and when they tell you to move, like they're going to, you say no. Like I heard that actually
interesting.
Like, actually orchestrated that.
Makes sense because what I heard, I didn't dive deeper into it to find out, but they said the day that she got arrested, he had a team together working on what the protest is going to be.
True.
So the protest was that they're going to boycott that bus, the whole bus system for 380 days. They ended up doing it.
Damn.
All black people in Atlanta. We're not taking the bus, or sorry, not Atlanta, Montgomery, Alabama. So the city bus in Montgomery, they boycotted it for over a year.
Niggas, we walking. We walking everywhere. Shabbat shalom.
That is interesting that he might have put her up to it because as we go throughout all of his protests and civil rights things, even though they say he's a nonviolent guy, his theory was, yes, we're going to be nonviolent, but technically we have to make them get violent with us. We have to draw it out of them so that their demonstration of strength, of physical violence is going to be such a like a disgusting thing for people to see that we can make an example out of. Look at how they're treating us.
It's very smart. That's textbook. That's That's being white 101.
So
that's in the like first 5 pages of being white. They're like, you got to draw it out of them. That's what guys do. They'll force you to get violent and get mad so they can be like, look at this angry guy.
I heard about this white guilt thing. Let's try it out.
He's like, I was with my side chick the other night.
So he tested the waters with Rosa Parks. He's like, okay, we're going to just make them arrest a woman for sitting on a bus. How does that make sense?
Right. Like the things, because he had the actual points that he wanted to change. It's not like the protests today where you have no idea what they're doing it for. Like he had legit points of what he wanted done. So that could have been one of the things. Like we want this to stop happening with the bus. We contribute this much. So let's take our money away from this transit system and then fuck them that way.
So that protest actually ended up working. It was a success. Racial segregation on public transit was overturned. It was unconstitutional. Whatever the high court in the United States, the Supreme Court, they ruled it unconstitutional. No one was allowed to segregate on public transit anymore.
You weren't allowed to be like, hey, you back of the bus, buddy.
Yeah, there was still segregation in other parts of life, but they're like, public transit. I mean, you're on the bus. Everyone, if you don't have a car, just deal with it. You have to sit next to some black people. You want to segregate yourself? Make some money, Ted. Get a car, Cletus.
If you're white and you can't afford a car, you might as well be a nigga.
Oh,
sorry. Drives away.
Yeah. Because all the guys that were in the Supreme Court, obviously they all had cars. They're not taking the bus. If anything, they might even have a driver. Yeah. And he might be black.
Oh, for sure.
And the segregation was just sliding up the window.
There was no buttons to press back then. You just push the black guy at the back of his neck. Just boop. And you go, oh shit. Sorry. There you go.
Oh, yeah, just one of those sheets that pulls across.
Yeah.
So that knowing that strategy worked, it led to him forming and leading the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. And this is where he started organizing protest demonstrations for civil rights all across the South. He was going to Alabama, Georgia, like all the Mississippi, everywhere that they had these like hard segregations, very old school racist, like as bad as it comes. You hear about the South. That's where he was focusing. Now, in the Southern Christian Leadership, we're going to take a couple off routes to talk about the bad things that they say about Martin Luther King, because this is Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history. In the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, even though they were doing lots of good work, it is claimed that he was pretty sexist and he wouldn't really give women a chance to step up in the
ranks of
ranks.
Civil rights.
Women played a limited role. And when one of these ladies, what was her name? Dorothy? Was it Dorothy?
Dorothy.
Yeah, bro, Dorothy Height. So she
back
wrote
in the 50s, they didn't have Karens. They had Dorothy's people.
Dorothy Height. She wrote, I may not get there with you, the true Martin Luther King Jr. And she basically wrote like a book about how women would come with these ideas and be like, oh, we want to start this grassroots operation. We want to do this and that. And he's like, ladies, bake sale.
Oh man, hey, but listen.
It was the 50s.
That's what I was just gonna say, man. He was being normal with ladies. Is that what you're saying? He was just being a regular guy.
Yeah, we didn't know any better. It was just boys being boys.
And honestly, hey, maybe they all had shit ideas. You ever think of that?
You ever think of that? Women?
You ever think of that though? Maybe they were just coming up to him with what? Maybe Dorothy was just like, oh, I want to do this. Public sex display or something. He's like, this white bitch is crazy. Listen here, Dorothy. Wait, is Dorothy black or white?
Black, 100%.
Is she?
Yeah.
100%?
Yeah.
You seen a picture of her?
99%.
You didn't even check. If she's white, I'm going to throw the whole computer out if she's white. Fuck that.
I can't imagine her being white.
I hope not.
A white woman having the nerve to write about how a black man conducts his business.
You have no idea. You can be perpetuating some white devil lady who's just like, I told Martin that I wanted to.
In 1963, through all these different protests he was doing, one of the most famous ones was ended up doing the letter from a Birmingham jail. Do you know about this one?
No.
So he was doing a protest in Birmingham, and this is where, like we said, you need to try and draw the violence out of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is that time where they got hosed down, dogs sicked on them, and Martin Luther King ended up going to jail. And in that letter, it's one of his most famous letters, where he's basically talking about like, we need to show how ugly they treat us. Like,
yeah, what they're willing to do, kind of thing.
He was saying, like, you can read that part.
What is this? The Negro is your brother.
Yeah. So he's trying
by
to
James Jam Easy.
Yeah, right.
What the fuck?
No, this is a letter from the Birmingham jail. So he's basically trying to show like, hey, we're people too. They're sicking dogs on us right now.
Right?
We're humans.
And you know what? It's funny that you're saying this right now, because I don't know what year it was. I think it was in the 90s though, when Rodney King, when that shit happened with him, when he got the shit kicked out of him. That was like supposed to be something that woke up white America and go like, oh shit, they really treat us bad. And it's so funny that you're showing that like Martin Luther King did this all the way back then.
Yeah.
It's like,
and what's interesting about that is
crazy.
When something like the LA riots happened, we were watching a video before this where it would say these politicians will try and use Martin Luther King's whitewashing his legacy, trying to say, oh, Martin wouldn't have wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
Martin wouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah.
But that's kind of bullshit for them to say that, because if
100%
for what they're fighting for, you're fighting against, say, cops murdering black people. Still to this day, 60 years later, I think Martin Luther King would have been completely fine with breaking a couple windows at this point. It's been 60 years since he had a dream, and you guys are still fucking up the same way.
Can you imagine he appeared today? That's probably exactly what he would say. He'd be like, Jesus Christ, you pussy ass niggas, let's go and take down these fucking, they're damn right, Capitol Hill. He'd probably be on those Capitol Hill guys' side. He'd be like, goddamn right, get into those goddamn buildings. He'd be like, holy shit, it's still happening?
I don't know about all that.
He'd be like, what year is it? We'd be like, 2021, sir. He'd be like, what the fuck? Are you serious?
I think he'd be
like,
a little bit happy about
he'd be like, when's the last
how far
time?
we've come.
He'd be like, when's the last time a black guy got murdered by the police? He'd be like, 5 minutes ago, sir.
Oh, yeah,
and he'd be like, oh my God. He'd be like, are you guys for real right now? He'd be mad. I think he'd be angry.
Which is actually we're going to get to that later, but I'll just jump ahead for a second. When the people started turning against him the last couple of years of his life, it was when he started talking, instead of civil rights and racial injustice, he just started talking about economic injustice and police brutality. And that's when people were like, hey, and anti-war. When he started going at those three issues instead, that's when they're like, no, we can't have that.
Yeah. The economy, the military-industrial complex, because that's where you're attacking when you're anti-war. Yeah, that's a lot of shit. So, and he broke away from that obedient face. This is the same story of like what happened with Tupac. Like everything was cool when Tupac was a thug, but as soon as he started talking about positivity and like open-minded and all this shit, and jail's not the place, then he gets murdered. Every single time they're about to break away from this obedience, like the proper narrative of what a black man should be or whatever, then all of a sudden they get murked off.
We usually start off with what did you know about Martin Luther King before this, but now we will say it, because when my whole life up until today, when I did my research, was Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream speech, civil rights leader, got murdered for trying to stop segregation, got murdered for trying to bring equality, but it wasn't about racial injustice. He got murdered about when he was preaching that economic stuff. When you start going after the money, it's a whole nother thing. So he actually wasn't
true.
The day that he got murdered, he was in town for a union. I think it was the sanitation union. They were doing a strike trying to get better pay. Like Martin Luther King was about getting the minimum wage up, getting a mandatory income, like making people able to get by, like making people make money. And that's when FBI started watching him, and that's when they started organizing his death, allegedly.
Think about it. Same with Malcolm X, right? Like as soon as Malcolm X was like, hey, maybe white people aren't that bad. Like Martin Luther King's at this union meeting. It probably wasn't an all black union. All of a sudden they're like, yo, this guy's expanding into white people heavy. He's expanding into the poor man.
That's
There's way more of them than there are of us. And then the FBI comes into play.
He brought black people together. That was a little bit scary for white people. But when he started bringing...
But obediently. It was like black people come together, but don't fight, don't do anything violent. So that was all good.
But now when he started getting poor Spanish people, poor Asian people, poor white people, anyone that had economic troubles, we're all going to come together. That's when they're like, no, we got to cut this shit out.
Yeah, basically, it's fucked.
So
Crazy.
when he was on the still talking about racial injustice, that was when he did the I Have a Dream speech. He actually won Time Magazine Man of the Year. He was the youngest person ever to win a Nobel Peace Prize. Do you know that?
Youngest person ever?
Yeah, at that time. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody's done since then, but in 1964 he was 34 years old. He became the youngest person ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's insane.
So
I'm 34 right now. I make podcasts. I've yet to win a Nobel Peace Prize award yet. I might though.
You know what? This podcast is like, it's kind of like talking about peace.
It's kind of like a Nobel Peace Prize.
It's kind of like a Nobel Peace Prize.
I should get the Nobel Peace Prize. It's February. Give me my prize.
Michael. I'm taking the name Michael back, and I want that Nobel Peace Prize.
My middle name's Michael. Give me prize.
So, after that, I Have a Dream speech, he actually got segregation became against the law. He got voting rights for black people. I think black people were allowed to vote before, but there were some weird like stipulations in certain states where it's like it made it hard to vote. Like it was like it wasn't like you can just walk in and do
It's
this.
like you're allowed to vote, but it depends who's at the ballot box.
But that's a half. You're allowed to vote, but we're gonna throw those votes out.
Yeah. You can vote, but don't touch my pen, please. Don't touch my paper.
Now those were all big victories. Big hero
Huge.
in history.
Huge.
This is when he started to shift his focus from racial injustice to economic injustice, like we were saying. So in 1968, he had a poor people's campaign, bringing poor people together for economic change, minimum wage and guaranteed wages. 1968, coincidentally, the year he was shot. So the same year that he started getting these ideas is when he got shot.
Because if it went on too long, that would have been part of his legacy. If it was super short, they could always just make the civil rights, like, you know, I Have a Dream. That's the end of the legacy.
Exactly. Between 63 and 68 is when he started to shift his focus to things that, he was anti-Vietnam. They didn't like that. Started talking about police brutality. They didn't like that. Started talking about economic equality. They didn't like that. Those three issues are really what got him murdered, from what I gather in my 2 hours of research this morning. There was another assassination attempt of him 10 years before. In 1958, he was doing a protest, not a protest, like basically like a speech get together. Like I think
Demonstration.
he wrote a book he was handing out, showing people, like giving people stuff to think about.
Yeah.
This lady came up to him. She says, "Are you Martin Luther King?" He said, "Yeah." She said, "I've been looking for you for 5 years." And she stabbed him with a letter opener.
Wow.
And it took like 3 hours to get it out properly because it had stabbed the artery. Like if they didn't take it out very, very slowly, and it could have really made him bleed out. So he was lucky to survive.
What the fuck?
Two things now. He jumped out of a window. He got stabbed. Man, the guy.
A letter opener, eh?
A letter opener.
That's crazy. I had never heard that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
In 1958.
And she got him too, eh?
There's a black woman too.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, see, that's the thing. You can't have mad side bitches and you're just tossing girls to the side all willy nilly. She rolled up. She was like, "This motherfucker." It was probably a one night stand. That's why she had to make sure.
Ooh.
She's like, "Are you Martin Luther King?"
Well, we are gonna get into that. Martin Luther King did love the ladies, guys. He loved the ladies.
Listen, I don't know what when these people try and dig this stuff up, you're not digging up any cons at all. Okay. These are all pros.
Yes. So I don't know if the FBI was always surveilling him, but definitely between that I Have a Dream speech and his death, when he started talking about all this other stuff, when he was against the Vietnam War, they started saying, "Oh, he has communist thoughts. He's trying to do some communist stuff." So you start talking like a communist, America's watching you. So FBI put him on surveillance. And unlike the squeaky clean Malcolm X, who was on 24-hour surveillance, and if you guys haven't heard that episode, go back and listen to it.
Check it out.
They didn't find shit on him because he was just squeaky clean. They said they watched him all day, all night, and the worst thing they ever saw Malcolm X do was be late from an appointment.
No.
Now, Martin Luther King, they might have seen him do some more unsavory things. Now,
Savory. Nothing's more savory than pussy. What are you talking about?
Ooh.
Oh my god. Bro, these are not cons
The
here.
MLK tapes,
So what
the
was he
secret
do?
FBI recordings,
Let me know.
accused Martin Luther King of watching and laughing as another pastor raped a woman.
That's the worst one. Other than that, he had 40 extramarital affairs at least. So let's get into it.
Raped a woman. How do they classify the rape and everything? Like, are they all in a room getting down? A pastor too. So they're all getting down. These are nuns, I assume, and they're all
Not
having
nuns,
sex.
but-
Probably.
Okay, a lot of
How you tell a nun when she's naked? How do you know if a lady's a nun while she's naked?
Oh, but Christianity and Catholic.
You thought deep about that, eh?
No, when you're a Christian pastor, you're allowed to be married. There's no like celibacy.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he was married to Coretta Scott.
Oh yeah, he was a pastor too.
Yeah.
True. So this was a pastor party.
It was a pastor party. That's where these things were going down at. Because
gang.
so they would, what the FBI would do, they would bug his hotel room where this information came out. A respected Pulitzer Prize winning author, writer who wrote the biography on Martin Luther King. Like, he's not saying a bunch of bad stuff about Martin Luther King. He unearthed these documents and what do you call it? Transcripts of what the tape said.
Yeah.
And he's like, this could really damage Martin Luther King's legacy. So,
And what did he do with them?
he never released them.
But then how do you know about it?
Tom tells Sally, Sally tells Jerry. Next thing you know, it's in the Atlanta Journal.
You can't even hold it down. This guy couldn't even hold him down.
The only reason that this information even got out is because that one respected guy co-signed it. He's like, yeah, he said some shit. They got. Anyways, so secret tapes accused Martin Luther King of having extramarital affairs with 40 to 45 women. The civil rights hero was heard on a tape saying that he's the founder of the International Association for the Advancement of Pussy Eaters. That's one of his quotes from the tape.
Bro, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's the same thing as this fucking writer who was writing about Shaka Zulu having sex with soldiers and shit. They're always tainting us, tainting our legacy.
I would love to hear these tapes. I would love to hear Martin Luther King say that he's
imagine?
I am the founder of the International Association for the Advancement of Pussy Eaters.
Oh man, fuck.
That doesn't make me. That's not, like you said. That's not a con.
That's
though.
not a problem, man.
Yeah, the only one that was
He was founding organizations left and right.
for eating pussy. He was giving women pleasure.
And-
in the 60s, you know what I mean?
Right? That's kind of him acknowledging the female orgasm,
I thought he was sexist.
which men did not do back then. They did not acknowledge female orgasms back then. This guy was down there long enough to establish a foundation.
That bitch Dorothy called me a sexist. I'm a feminist. I let girls sit on my face all the time. I have a dream that I'm eating pussy. But pussy eats me back.
But how old was he? How old was he when this was happening? Because you gotta remember, this guy was
he was 34 and 63, so he was probably in his mid to late 30s.
Oh, come on, man. Oh, you guys don't know.
Now,
You guys don't know about black men. We thrive in our mid to late 30s. We come alive.
Also,
Kidding me? And he was a doctor.
and he was
He was famous.
and he was a pastor, and that's the real. When you're a preacher, like, no offense to preachers, I'm sure there's lots of good ones out there, but there's definitely a common thing in churches, black and white, in these Christian churches where the preacher ends up fucking some of the members.
Yeah, the wives.
The members of the church. You see me up on stage killing it every Sunday,
Right.
and you don't want a piece of this body of Christ? Take this,
Bro.
all of you, and suck it. This is my dick to have and to hold.
Bro, there's no way he said, like, I don't know. That's a pretty weird thing to make up. But you know what? The FBI does that. They make up weird shit. They're weirdos. They do.
The reason I find so they say he sat back and watched another pastor rape a member of
lady.
the church
Yeah.
in a hotel room. I wonder what they really heard. Like, because you could write down in a transcript, watch this. Pastor says, let's have sex. No, They start fucking. Martin Luther King laughs. That's what the transcript could be, and that could be the damning evidence when it's really like she was playfully like just being like, "Oh, Pastor, stop it."
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? I don't want to victim blame. I don't want to make excuses.
They could have just straight up been fucking, and Martin Luther King could have been laughing. Or
you ever walk in on one of your boys fucking? It's funny. It's so funny. It actually is funny.
But who knows? He could have turned her over and he could have been hidden, and also she could have started screaming, and then Martin could have been laughing, and they could have been like, well, that's rape enough for me.
Exactly.
Who knows?
So
who knows? Or they could have just been like, yo, we have to make this guy seem horrible right now because he is turning his ideas around. So we're going to make him look like a fucking sexual deviant. We're going to make him look like a communist. We're going to make him look like everything we've demonized in the past 30 years, from the 20s to the 50s. You know?
Yeah. They also had another part on the tape where it's him and another preacher talking about which parishioners, which is members of the church, would be suitable for natural and unnatural sex acts. Would you fuck her? Yo, I'd let that girl lick my ass. Like that's the unnatural shit. Yeah. I mean, okay, that one I'd fuck, but that one, I would eat her shit. Like, you know when guys say that? I would drink her bathwater.
Like, bro, there's a
yo, that's what they
we know a guy that says that. He says it all the time.
That was the conversation. I have a friend that talks like that too. Like, oh, I would suck a fart out of her ass.
Yeah, I've had friends say that too. I'm like, it's a little wild.
So that's probably the conversation that Martin Luther King was having.
Bro, he was just talking.
Yo, that girl's so sweet.
What would you do? I'd fuck that shit. You know what I mean? Obviously, they're gonna have those conversations. I'm not even gonna step away from that. That's what guys do.
Yeah,
they get together.
Just guys being guys.
And they talk about the parishioners.
Or kings being kings.
Oh, it's Black History Month, y'all. Fucking know what's up.
But that's just So most of the stuff is pretty playful. Oh, I'm the leader of a pussy association. Who would you fuck? What would you do to that one?
So it's like he was a guy, right? And the whole thing about the rape thing, I don't know that lady was getting raped. I mean, they say that. Have they talked to the lady? Because they could easily pull the lady up and.
No, the FBI document says when one of the women protested that she did not approve of. So I guess there was women in the room while they were having this conversation about like, oh, would you fuck her? And so one of the women overheard it, said she did not approve. And the Baptist minister, not Martin Luther King, the guy that he was talking to, immediately and forcibly raped her.
What?
Dung, dung. King watched and laughed. See, I don't know.
That doesn't even make sense.
And offered advice during the encounter.
What?
Yo, lift her leg up. Play with her pussy.
Jesus. What? And offered advice? See what I mean? Like they don't even like, wouldn't you go deeper into it? If you're already giving me this tea, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What was the advice?
Like let the tea bag sit inside the tea for a little.
Maybe that advice could help us.
Let that steam.
Maybe I want to try some of Martin Luther King's moves. Terrible. No, there's no.
He did the "I have a dream" to me last night. That's crazy.
I really I choose to believe that Martin Luther King didn't just sit back and laugh at a rape. I don't think that was him.
I don't know.
I can't even comprehend that in my mind.
It seems so weird that it's like one of the women was just like, "Hey, don't talk about those ladies like that." And that pastor's minister's first reaction was to rape her.
Oh, you don't want us to talk about it?
Like what the like?
Come here, girl.
What? In what? Like, you know what I mean? That makes them sound like thugs.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what they were trying to make him seem.
Oh, like, I'm gonna trust the FBI, what they had to say about black guys in the 60s?
Jesus,
come on.
You know what I mean? That's exactly what I'm talking about.
The following day, Martin and a dozen others allegedly participated in a sex orgy. So to think that you got 12 people having a sex orgy the next day in a room where a rape took place, I don't think everyone would be feeling that vibe. They'd be like, I don't really feel sexy right now.
Yeah, no. I heard what you did to Sister Mary Catherine.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
So we're not having a fun orgy the day after a rape. I'll tell you that right now.
But it's just like, and then see what I mean? And then a dozen of them had an orgy. The fuck is this?
Yeah, I know. FBI just spicing it up.
Like what? And then 12 of them came in and started fucking each other.
What if they were just playing
buttholes?
What if they were just playing dominoes? FBI never heard dominoes on recording before. They're hearing all this excitement of slap, talking, and they're just FBI is just like, well, looks like there's a crazy orgy going on right now.
Could you imagine that? 3. He just starts slapping. I want to do it so bad, but
He
it's
slapped
just,
3 women.
he's just slapping the table.
I heard,
Watch me now.
Yeah.
Watch me now. Watch me now.
I heard Martin laughing, calling himself a winner, saying he got 6.
They broke the table.
6 what? Women?
Yeah, exactly. Bro, that's so weird. I honestly do think the FBI was just trying to make him look horrible. Especially back then, to say that somebody's communist, that's like a tale. That's like calling somebody a Nazi today.
Now, yeah, exactly. That was. It was like communist. Oh.
Yeah.
When one of the women didn't want to participate in the orgy, allegedly, King said, "It'll help your soul." Come on. Which
it would. I would think a orgy would liven up anybody's soul. Nah, but it would help your soul. It just seems ridiculous. It seems ridiculous. It doesn't even make any sense at all. Like, it just makes no sense. And she was like, I don't want, like, there's 12 people having sex. This is what the FBI is listening to. There's 12 people having sex. So all they're hearing is, and then they hear one lady go, I don't want to have sex. Hey, honey, it'll help your soul out.
they didn't even say she didn't want to. They said reluctantly. She could have been like, I don't know. And he's like, it'll help your soul. And she's like, well, all right.
She's like, I'll fuck him, and him. But those 3, I don't want those 3.
Yeah. Can I just be on this side of the orgy? So after getting all these recordings, the FBI, they cut a mixtape together and they sent it to Martin Luther King, and they're like, yo, we got you on tape. Kill yourself before we release this. Like, they blackmailed him. They're basically like,
real shit.
Yeah, they called him an evil, abnormal beast, and his sexual exploits would be on record for all time. They said he should commit a suicide before his wrongs were revealed to the world, and he died that year.
That's fucked, because he's not going to commit suicide, obviously.
He's probably like Christian.
He's probably like, come out with it. Do it. I dare you. I'm already down with the poor people. You don't know what they do? Who do you think I'm having orgies with, buddy?
Yeah.
They're like, release it. I dare you.
You guys got the audio? I got the video. I'll tell the whole story.
My buddy Stanley Kubrick has been filming me for the past 7 years.
They're like, we're going to tell your wife. She's like, my wife was holding the camera. She's down.
Y'all niggas do not know Coretta whatsoever.
But apparently he didn't really spend that much time with Coretta. That's why he had so much time. Well, first of all, he was doing a bunch of good work.
Bro, he's out
but
doing
when you're
demonstrations.
when you're taking the night off in the hotel, having a quick orgy, you know what I mean?
Bro, I don't even I don't know. I just, you know me, I'm not big on religion, but I feel like they don't do that in the church. I feel like they don't break into orgies. I just feel like that doesn't happen. I'm not big into religion. You know me.
No, that actually makes it more believable to me.
You think so? You think they break
church certified freaks there 7 days a week, twice on Sundays?
And you think they burst into orgies?
I think there's a lot of sexual repression, and I think.
But why wouldn't they go? Wait, hold on. Wait, where are they? Is it a hotel?
Hotels. Yeah.
Okay. So they're in hotels. Okay, so that makes more sense. But like,
hotels make me want to fuck every time I'm in.
Well, yeah, I thought you were talking about in the church.
Yeah, hotel sex.
I was like, this is such a weird thing. But like, why? Why go to a hotel? Why do all this?
Sexual repressed Christians, they're told to not have sex till marriage, but they're still horny. We're all horny.
Yeah, but you can get one person to fuck your brains out. You don't need 11 other people there.
You're told not to have sex. God said so.
I know. I've been with a bunch of Catholic ladies, and
all of a sudden, you're in a hotel room with your pastor, with your preacher, and then this other Baptist preacher, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, guys, you're with God right now. Let's all fuck. And then one lady says, I'm not too sure. And then your preacher says, it'll help your soul.
Yeah.
It all makes sense to me.
None of that. Like, it's the weirdest world to depict somebody living in.
It's so
But you know what? It's so easy to believe that about a black person if you're white at that time. It's so easy to believe that.
Well, I have lots of friends.
Very, very easy to believe that. That you would be like, oh yeah, this guy who's a doctor and like the epitome of a good person, all of a sudden he steps out of the range of what they think is good thought, and all of a sudden he's having orgies, just full blown orgies.
Look into Google. Okay, I'll Google it right now. Just see how many results come up. I'm just gonna put.
I'm not putting nothing into my. Your search is already fucked
All
up.
I'm gonna
you
do.
Can keep searching.
I'm gonna Google preachers.
You were just. Hey, he was
preacher.
just. You were just in Google and you just went to Google.com.
No, I was in Bing. I don't trust Bing.
Oh, okay. You don't trust Bing?
Preachers sex scandal, and there's gonna be so many because preachers always get in sex scandals.
But like, show me the orgy ones. Well, like,
No,
you know what I mean? That's
all
like
I'm
that's
telling you
weird.
is that
I already know about Catholic Church guys having sex. It happens with every single.
Let's all thank God that Martin Luther King was a Christian and not a Catholic, because Catholics fuck kids and Christians just fuck the women that are in their church.
Well, I'm sure. Like, I've heard of every.
Praise God. Can I get an amen?
I've heard of every religious head, like priest, pastor. Although I've heard of scandals with each one, but this just sounds weird. Right at the time where this guy is falling out of their graces, he's all of a sudden having orgies.
So I type in preacher sex scandal on Google, and 751,000 results come up.
Yeah,
not just. I'm just saying.
No.
Preacher sex orgy?
Yeah. No. No. This guy wrote it so fast. It's not what I meant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
2,250,000.
Bro, those are porn sites. You just pulled up porn sites. You fucking.
Yeah. These aren't right. What? Look at this one. African pasture orgy.
See what I mean? You're just see.
But
see. These have been fantasies of white guys for years. You know, some white guy directed that, right?
You think?
Of course. Come on.
I don't know.
Come on. You crazy.
Personally,
it's just a little wild that right at that time he was having orgies and stuff like that. It's just a little weird that right as he's stepping out of line with what they want him to say, all of a sudden he's doing all
they get all this info on him. Yeah. Well, it is the time where they also started surveilling him. So
and they're like, hey, we're gonna.
Because imagine you're Martin Luther King.
Yourself.
You've been having these. Let's say that he's just been fucking women in hotels for the last 15 years. No trouble, no drama. All of a sudden, 3 years, you get 3 years of the FBI surveilling your hotel room. Like you were getting loose at this point. You're like, I've been doing this for years. Like there's no end in sight. We're good. All of a sudden, you get this letter. It's like there's some letter of you talking about, oh, I'm the founder of a pussy eating organization. And you're like, oh shit. You start playing. You put on. You start playing it. Your wife's like, oh shit. Oh, yeah. What's that, Martin? Nothing.
Your headphones on.
Nothing.
Just sitting there tapping your fingers. Oh, it's just a good song, honey.
Yeah. No, I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure they spiced up some details, made it sound worse. The whole orgy thing, the whole witnessing a rape thing. I'm not buying into that. But did he fuck other women?
I heard that
I'm definitely buying into that because
I heard that he had side women.
Yeah, he might have had other kids and stuff too.
Side pieces.
Apparently, he had a side piece in L.A. that he was with for a bit.
But were they white? I heard they were white.
See, I googled Martin Luther King and white women, and I just got a bunch of porn. No, I'm just kidding.
Bro, you can just write MLK. That's the respect that this guy has for the black community. Jesus. White wife. That's what came up as you were writing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird. An MLK scholar.
I'll never be able to view King. What's this?
Find out about white ladies, though.
Well, you stopped on this one. You asked me.
No, I didn't.
I'll never be able to view King in the same light. Oh, this is the same guy, yeah. David Garrow. That's the same guy that's the Pulitzer Prize winner. See? He'll never be able to view him in the same light because that came up. He was... The thing is, this guy was a very...
I want to see this guy do it for free. If he did all this for free, I get it. But if he got paid millions of dollars, I don't know about this guy.
I feel like if he was fucking white women in the hotel room, the FBI would have put a stop to it real fast. Like, is that a white woman's voice?
You're under arrest. I heard that's what it was. We were madly in love.
She's like,
the untold story of MLK.
Fuck my white pussy.
What is that? Yeah, click that. What? That's what I'm talking about. Click that.
Which one?
That madly in love.
This one?
Yeah. The untold story of MLK's
white girlfriend.
There you go.
It took me a long time to find Betty Moss.
1998 autobiography. See, like, this guy's at the root of everything. Dave got what the fuck?
He's the one that wrote the biography. I told you that.
Bro, he's at the root of it.
So basically in the 80s he wrote like a really endearing, loving biography just to set up that 10 years later he's gonna write a trash piece.
Bro, he just lost all his money and he's like, yo, what can I do next?
Yeah.
This is the only thing I'm an expert in.
Remember that guy I wrote about being like the voice of a generation, the hero?
He's
Let's
like,
make him a fucking sex addict.
He's like, I gotta cash in right now. Let me just put some stuff out. So he had a white girlfriend. See, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So he had a
girlfriend. But again, just to be clear, this is not a con. This is a pro.
So they apparently he broke up with the white girl, he was a man with a broken heart and he never recovered.
After he broke up with the white girl, he broke up with her. See what I mean? This is why I think they're lying. Does this sound like? Listen, let me just go over this with you real quick. We're talking about Martin Luther King. Right?
MLK.
Would you consider him a real nigga?
I don't know.
Does this sound like some real nigga shit to do? That you broke up with some white girl and you never recovered, but also you're having 12-person orgies? What are they talking about? Pick one. Either he's a simp or he's a pimp. You gotta pick one. You can't he's both. He has orgies and he cries over this white lady he left. Come on. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, you can love. He loved hard. You were
thinking of some personal shit just then. You paused for a second.
I didn't know how to put it into words. I'm just saying you can love sex and you can love a person.
I don't want to hear about your Unkala Bunga stories, okay? Tell me about your Unkala Bungas.
Anyways, man.
But what else? What else in your notes of him?
In my notes of him, that was pretty
bad.
much it. The only other thing was, did you know that his mother was murdered as well? After him. About 5 years after him, she was playing the church organ, and somebody came in and shot up the church, shot her, and he said, "I hate all Christians."
Wow. That's fucked.
So I don't know if he targeted her because she was Martin Luther King's mom, or if it's just because she was a church organ player.
Yeah, we got to find out what she was talking about. And she was like, if she was like, I'm going to carry on my son's legacy, then we all know why she got shot.
Oh, and the one other thing I wanted to bring up was his unsanitized quotes. Like we said, he's been his...
Unsanitized.
Unsanitized as in the whitewashing of Martin Luther King. They left out the part that he was... They try and make it sound like he was so kumbaya, so like obedient, like you said. Yeah. First one right off the bat. One has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws.
Wow. Gang shit.
That sounds like something like, if you told me who said that, I would probably think that was Malcolm X. If you're saying who said this, Malcolm or
Malcolm X for sure, I would think too. Yeah, 100%.
It is cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself up by his own bootstraps.
Wow.
That's hard, yo. That's a fucking hard quote.
Wow, because that's still a thing they say to this day.
It is.
Bootstrap line.
You homeless guy on the street. Can I have some change? Why don't you pull yourself up by your bootstraps? I ain't got no shoes.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's fucked that he said that. And they just wiped that away because that's the perfect rebuttal to that. And they just swept that one under the rug.
Yes, these are the ones that they did sweep under the rug.
Wow.
True compassion is more than flinging a coin to a beggar. It comes to see that an edifice which produces beggars needs restructuring. I don't really know what edifice means. What does that mean? Do you know?
An edifice?
Yeah.
Wait, it comes to see that, and I would consider that a system which produces beggar.
Watch this. He's talking about allies.
What?
King didn't accept lazy allyship in the 60s. He argued that temporary band-aids over wounds of oppression underestimate the depth and magnitude of the institutions that produced them. He advocated that in order to truly help those in need, it's crucial to understand the systematic causes of poverty, racism, and social inequalities. So that was in 67 when he started talking more about poor people. He was against Vietnam. Like, this is why we're seeing his rhetoric change a little bit. All these quotes are from, 1968. All these ones are from later on in his.
Wow. Yeah. Before he got killed.
Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject a verb to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. I don't know why they would sweep that one under the rug. That seems pretty nice.
Yeah, to serve.
He's basically saying you can make a difference. Anyone can make a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
There's three more. Let's start. We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed.
Wow,
that's good too.
That's crazy.
That was from the letter from the Birmingham jail.
It's so sad. There's so many people twisting all of his legacy, twisting it out of control.
Yeah,
can get their ways and shit. It's fucking.
It
horrible.
is when you want everyone to calm down. It's like, what would Martin Luther King do?
Yeah,
it's like, well,
he'd fuck you up,
yeah. And then he'd go fuck your wife. He'd rent a hotel room. He's in town for the night, anyways. Might as well get some pussy.
Holy fuck!
It may be true that law cannot make a man love me, but it can stop him from lynching me. And I think that's pretty important.
Damn.
This guy's got jokes. You think people laugh in the crowd? Like, pause break.
I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Can you imagine there's some way people are like, oh, God, with the lynching. We need to lynch every once in a while. What's wrong with him?
Can't we just lynch one?
I just want to lynch once a month. I want my son to grow up right.
I want him to see history. What are we just going to give up our history?
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Damn.
This is also from the letter from the Birmingham jail. The question is not if we will be extremists, but what kind of extremists we will be. Will we be extremists for hate or love? And they show a picture of him next to Malcolm X.
He chose love.
He chose love.
Fucking right he did.
What about love?
He's like, let's be extremists of love, my dear.
Ooh.
These 10 people in here will help us do that.
Yeah. We're all going to fuck in the same room? Do you want to be extremists of love or not?
Or hate.
This is the X Games of sex.
Yeah.
Do you want to fuck me on that diving board? Or
You
do
know
you want
what?
to fuck me in a bed? Are you extreme?
Honestly, I hope he did say that pussy eating line. Because that's fucking hilarious.
Love
That's like
that line.
that's right up there with like Rob Ford saying that I got enough pussy to eat at home.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm the founder.
I love
of the
that.
Pussy Licking Association.
That shows he had a sense of humor. Which shows intelligence. God damn it.
And the last unsanitized quote from MLK, Martin Luther King. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. You like that one?
Yeah.
I've heard that in different ways. People always say, like, I'd rather have the guy that's pretending to be. I mean, I'd rather have the guy that just straight up tells me he's racist than the guy that's good at pretending he's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Is that kind of like the same?
It's similar, but this is like talking about the understanding. So it's like you think you're an ally, but you're still like, you're the I have a black friend person.
I know.
Like
you're not the I am my black friend's white friend person.
True.
Like me. I have a white friend.
Right? And then a white friend.
Yeah.
And then absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. It's like yeah, that's force because those people already have ill will, so fuck them. But you're saying you're my ally, but you don't understand the plight exactly.
Oops.
Or at all. Which we're seeing a lot of today.
So
Niggas
I feel like both Martin Luther King and Malcolm X have these histories that have been altered a little bit to fit a certain narrative, to put them in the box that they wanted them in. But when you really examine their whole life together, they did get pretty close to thinking the same way.
Yep.
In the end, you know what I mean?
Bro, can you imagine the world if both of them didn't get killed would be just I think it would be a great place.
So this statue of him, it shows him coming out of a wall. Do you know what that's about?
Him coming out of a wall?
Yeah. Like, you see how they do it?
Well, I mean, it's a fucking big chunk of rock. They just kind of
No, but that's him standing by himself. But this one's him against a wall. Like, it must represent something.
Well, he's coming out
It's
of
the
stone.
MLK monument.
Click on it. Let's see. Maybe they're like, this is my nigga posted up on the wall. What's good with you?
MLK monument.
That'd be a weird description, though.
And I want to see.
Oh, fuck. That's weird.
It is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's just artistic shit.
We're gonna make this is gonna be the title page for our this week. Look at that. I was a drum major for justice, peace, and righteousness.
What? That's what it says on the side?
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm going to take that picture and I'm going to put one of those fucking badass quotes that he fucking said on it. I'll put on it.
Yeah.
Fuck all that.
Is this supposed to be like an answer to Mount Rushmore, maybe? Because look at it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like making him into a mountain.
It is kind of the same concept of him coming out of the stone. And he's on his own, too.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it, man.
Removal.
No, I meant to put what does it represent, but I don't feel like... Okay. Opened 48 years after Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech on the steps of Lincoln Memorial, the MLK Memorial stands 30 feet high. Dr. King's likeness is carved into the Stone of Hope, emerging from two boulders, which started as one and represent the Mountain of Despair.
Wow.
Jeez. See, I knew it was going to represent something. You don't just do one where it's not just him like standing by him. You know what I mean? It had to represent something.
So they put him in the Stone of Hope.
Stone of Hope, and he's between two. There's the two boulders. There you go. That's the Mountain of Despair.
That's the essence of his story. They murdered him and immortalized him.
Have you ever seen any Martin Luther King in movies?
No. But more importantly, did you look into the fact that the government actually had to pay his family in having a part played in his death?
Really?
Google that. Yeah, they actually paid money. They that's what I've heard. They legitimately had to pay out money. Paid out.
Let's see.
Oh, maybe. You gotta go to all.
Yeah. Wins lawsuit. Yeah, they won a lawsuit against the USA.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that fucking crazy?
Did you know Dr. Martin Luther King's family won a civil lawsuit in 1999? That's 31 years after his death, proving that the U.S. government was responsible for his assassination.
Isn't that fucked?
The media never reported it because the media is owned by the enemies of freedom. But you know who is not an enemy of freedom? Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history. We're out here, fighting for freedom, fighting for the truth. We're not really fighting, but we're looking into it.
Yeah. I haven't found anything to fight about yet.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Aside from this, what are your thoughts on him after all this?
Definitely, there's more to him than... I mean, I already thought he was a great guy. I've only ever heard good things about him. It was the only thing I ever heard about him is that he's had affairs, and I'm like, what am I? I'm gonna hold it out against him.
What am I, 10?
So, yeah. Overall, his life, he seems like a good guy. There's a reason we have a Martin Luther King Day. There's a reason that he's one of the biggest heroes of. He's probably the biggest hero of civil rights movements in the United States in history.
Yeah.
I don't even know who would be second place. It wouldn't be. I don't even know if it would be Malcolm X. I think Martin Luther King just got more done.
Yeah.
From the 2 episodes that we did, I have mad respect for both of them, but
got more done, and he got it done in a less abrasive way. And the things that he was doing was for the people, whereas what Malcolm X was doing was more for Elijah Muhammad. So.
And Martin Luther King, Malcolm X did come around and he didn't want segregation at the end, but I think the whole fight to not have America segregated was a good thing. I'm a guy that likes to mix it up with the minorities, if you know what I mean. No, but I'm glad that I'm very grateful that we don't live in a segregated society. I love mixing in with other cultures. I love learning about other people, and it would suck to be like, oh, we can't even be in the same room together. You know what I mean? Like, I
don't know. I might like it if there was like a pass. Like if there was like a Latina room and I was allowed in because I'm part Cuban, and there's a white room and I'm allowed in because I'm part white, and a brown one I'm allowed. I'd be pretty cool with it. I'd be making moves. I'd be like, you want some black girl panty on Jam Easy?
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, I want to smell some black girl. I got you, bro. I go into the black room. Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Yeah, you'd have to give up white women. That'd be your problem.
What do you mean? I'm allowed in.
Oh,
I'm everywhere.
Okay.
I got passes for everybody.
Is it an N-word pass?
I got those too. You want one?
So, just before we close out, Martin Luther King had a dream, right? He had a dream, and I was looking like, did most of those things in his dream come true? Some of them did. A lot of them didn't. But when you hear parts of that speech, I have a dream that one day we'll be walking side by side, black and white.
Yeah.
All of that sounds like good, and it's all doable. But a lot of his parts of his dream,
man,
that you don't hear that often, didn't come true. Like I have a dream that my 4 children will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. You hear that all the time, but I still think we have a ways to go before people stop judging off skin. You see, you know?
Of course. I mean, even with this, like, this isn't even the place to end with this speech, because this wasn't the last thing he said. The last thing he was talking about was he was talking about how he doesn't understand how we are allowing these injustices to happen, like as if we're China, or I forget what other place he mentioned.
Yeah,
he's like I understand that happens in those places because they don't have the freedoms. Yeah, they don't have the freedoms that we have. He's like, so I don't. He was just basically talking about the way things are. You could even apply it today.
Yeah.
He was like, these injustices are happening. We should be stepping up. We're not China. We're not a communist country. Like, we have these freedoms. That was the last thing he was saying.
Yeah.
And that's the shit that hasn't come true yet.
That speech, he's basically like, oh, if I lived in China, if I lived in Russia, I understand. But I saw it written somewhere that we're supposed to have rights or something here.
Yeah, exactly.
Where was that written? Yeah. Oh, in the Constitution of the motherfucking America.
But he was saying, he's like, we have the right to protest for our rights.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he was saying. He was like,
and he definitely did, man.
And then the next day he got killed. When he said that I have a dream stuff, they were like,
5
fine,
years later,
because this motherfucker's just a dreamer. Who gives a fuck? Let him have all these fucking dreams. But as soon as he started saying some serious shit, some real shit, some call to action type shit to people, that's when they assassinated him.
Without looking into it at all, I think a lot of people like me would think it went from I have a dream to murder. It went from wait, they killed him for making that beautiful speech? No, they didn't. He lived for 5 more years, and it's when he started pushing the envelope a little more, talking about equality and economically, that's when they're like, whoa, slow down there.
Easy, Marty. Easy there, Marty. Or Michael.
Mike. Another great Mike.
Yeah, man.
We could probably do a fucking whole month on Mikes alone.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we've already done one.
Right? Tyson, Jordan,
Jackson.
So many. Jackson.
I can't believe you didn't even think of him.
Well, I mean, he's not really I guess he conquered a little
the
bit.
King of pop?
Well, I guess, he conquered music. Yeah, true. I never even thought of that.
100% he did.
I went more towards kids and stuff. I didn't want to
conquered that booty. No, I don't think so. I don't think Michael Jackson did it. I think he had sleepovers, and I think he's weird.
It's Black History Month. It's the blackest guy on the show right here. James Jam Easy Cummins holding down Michael Jackson. Yeah,
you can find me at jam_easy. It doesn't matter if you're black and white. You can follow. You are not alone if you follow me. It'll be a thriller. And if you don't like me, then just beat it.
Ooh, that's a good one. And if
I'm a smooth criminal.
If you want to be starting something, you can follow me at Collins Process.
Hey, I'm gonna say I'm on.
And if you remember the time that you watched this video, please subscribe and like.
Because I want to rock with you all night.
Oh fuck!
I think that's a great place to end it. Martin Luther King, great guy. Black History Month. You're learning. You're laughing. You're learning. You might have heard some things you never did before. Throw some comments in there. Let us know what you thought of the episode.
And thank you so much, Martin Luther King, for everything you did, and for acknowledging that you knew that you were going to die and that you did it anyway.
Both him and Malcolm X knew that they were going to get murdered. Both of them. Martin Luther King had parts in his speeches was like, I'm setting all this stuff up. I'm probably not going to be here to experience it. I'm not gonna make it.
Longevity has its perks. That's what he said. Longevity has its perks. He's like, but I'm not concerned about that right now. So basically, he was like, yeah, you guys are gonna kill me. Yeah, come do it, because I'm not gonna stop.
Can't stop. Won't stop. All right, guys. Peace.
Peace. Oh, bring that music in.
Special delivery. I want that.
Thank you for listening to Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history. Rate, review, subscribe, and share. And remember to participate on our Instagram and shit and all that good stuff and blah, blah, blah. Follow us on Instagram.